Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Brush, episode 21. I'm your host, Jerry Donaghy. This week, we are joined by Tommy Houston, coming out of Newton Abbey, I believe. But first of all, let's go with the intro.
Turn the mic on, let the conversation roll. Everybody's got a story nobody knows. Some come laughing, some carrying weight. Some just need a place where they can speak straight. No fake shining, no polished lines. Just real people talking real life. One episode in and you understand why this became more than a podcast. No scripts, no acts, just honest voices having a chat. Behind the brush, where the real ones talk about the highs and lows we all walk. Big laughs, hard truths, stories that stick. Every episode it's a little different. Real raw, relatable nights, conversations carrying on past midnight. No filter, no fuss, just us. Welcome to Behind the Brush. Welcome to Behind the Brush.
Awesome. You just can't be, you just can't not be happy and smiling listening to that song. Maybe it's just me. Listen, welcome back, everybody, to episode 21. Just a quick mention to everybody that follows along every week, who likes, comments, reaches out, listens to the episode. I really appreciate it. I can't sense how many people, because it's live. I like live because you're getting the most honest, rawest version of both myself and the guest, and you just don't know where it'll take us. For me, it's like chatting to a decorator in a paint shop or on the phone, catching up, talking about real life and how we're all getting on and keeping each other pumped. This week we have Tommy Houston on. I'm super pumped. I've just done my first live in-house kitchen refinishing course. Had three awesome attendees. We had Barry, Philip, and Eddie up. It was fantastic, and 3.5 days ish of fully transforming a kitchen. It was class, absolutely unreal. But anyway, let's get Tommy on. Let's not waste any time. We're ready. Let's go. Boom. Tommy, how are we?
What's happening, Jared? You all good?
Are you well?
Yeah, not too bad. Just
Awesome.
kids to bed, ready to rock and roll.
I'm laughing because I feel like we're already done the podcast. We're on about an hour and 15 minutes last night.
Yeah, I know. I am. A quick call just to go over things, and we were on for over an hour. It was mad. I was
So
freaking mopping the floors of the kitchen about midnight last night.
but here, look, it's hopefully it'll lead into a really good episode. So Tommy, look, thanks for coming on. Let's do you want to take an opportunity to let everyone know who you are, where you're based, and your company?
Yes, so I'm Tommy Houston. I'm based in Antrim. I'm the owner of Houston's Decorators. I've
Awesome.
been really doing this from since I was 16, going around, half the country with vary of decorators before I went out on my own. What it could be 3, 4, 5 years
So
now. So yeah,
where did it all started when you were 16? Did you just, when you left school, was it you, did you know you were going to be a painter? Was it something that was always sort of ahead of you? Did any family members painters, or did you just fall into it? Or you didn't happen to be a chef by any chance?
no, I was no chef. So yeah, I just came out of school, had a bit of work experience in the from being a 7 hours training, didn't know what I was going to do, and then I just thought, right, I'll just go to what I knew from doing it before at 7 hours training. So I ended up signing up to paint decorating there. And ironically, when you're talking about family there, it was only like a few years down into it. Then I realized that my granddad that I never got to know was actually a decorator. I've been actually meaning to find that there's a plaque in my dad's house that was made out of like old fashioned like tin foil to like slate, with
Mm-hmm.
his glow with saying Houston's decorators on it,
Oh, that's mad.
and you just it just popped into my head there now. I completely forgot all about that. I'm just picturing it now. It has like a wee bungalow on it with a design. Freshly paint like it's been done white. Oh, I need to fucking find that.
Class. That's absolutely
Something.
class. So you didn't even
No,
know your granddad was
no,
a painter, and
didn't even know my grandmother.
he was also his decorators.
Yeah, yeah, I think he was the. I think it was initials more than just for Houston, but I'm sure it was at some point or
And
something.
I suppose I was going to say, was there anyone had an influence on you that brought you into the industry, but you didn't actually know him?
No, I didn't know. My dad's mum and dad passed away when he was young.
Uh-huh.
So I never got to meet that part of his family, So
So
yeah.
you were in the college at 16, and how easy did you find it to get into a company? Because you hear a lot at the minute, Tommy, apprentices across the board and multiple trades are struggling to actually get someone to take them on. So at the time, was it easy enough? Did you have to
Oh,
know
it was
someone to
great.
use somebody?
Everybody in the trade were looking people back then. So I got in with a guy, Eugene. Um, he'd lived the street down from where I was living with my dad. So I started in with them, and was with them for so many years, yeah, and learned from them guys really.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're all over the country with them and all. Like, thought it was mad going down to Carlo, when I was like 17 and I hadn't really been out in Northern Ireland at that point, So I was like,
Out
holy
of
shit.
Antrim.
Yeah, closest as I
I
went
think
was
a lot of
Kelly.
us think, even myself, it was you didn't leave it Nards. You maybe went to
Mhm.
Bangor, but that was about it. And then the thought of going to Belfast even was like a road trip. But
Yeah,
so that company you get in with, how did you find going? It must have been, was it a big enough company? Was there a
yeah.
lot of different
He
sort
had
of
numerous men working for him at the time. Some some guys that would have been out of school, maybe what 2 3 years above me.
yeah,
But they all like went to school together, and then there was guys then who were above them who were more who were older. They were more well time served, and then there was Eugene Onion himself, and yeah, good squad of lads. Some mad crack happening as you I'm sure you would know on building sites and stuff like that.
that's it. I think there's working for yourself, and then there's working with the crew. Like I even remember having my own crew, and the van's going home, and six of us in the van, and the crack was 90. I mean, it
Oh
was a
yeah.
full complete piss take out of somebody, or somebody was winding
I was the
somebody
one
up,
normally
and
getting the piss taken out of me because of the apprentice. Like, they were telling me to like go stand there and dance. I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, start dancing because it's Friday and all this here, and they're all laughing their heads off and stuff. But
go
brilliant
get a
times
tar.
to even think about it.
I know.
It
It,
builds you, so it
it
does.
does. It hardens you up a bit, especially when you're
I
asked to go get a 10 hardened paint, or you're asked to go get a long weight or something like that. There.
the only thing I was caught out on was go to blow bubbles out of the paint. So we were doing like pillar. I had to like go around painting pillars of the block that was directly across from the northern bank that got robbed back in the day. And I just remember one of the guys turning around saying, "Right, once you've rolled them, you have to go back over each side and you have to blow the bubbles out." So every four corner, and you've seen the sparks of joiners all just looking at me like, "What's this BJ at?" And there's me going up and down with a head, blowing away at these walls, and they're all around the corner in fits of laughter. Like,
Oh, brilliant.
fucking,
Absolutely brilliant. But here, look, it builds you up and hardens you for moving forward. I think if you need to be able to deal with that, because it doesn't stop really. When you go into any building
no,
site, there's somebody there to take the piss. I remember going to New Zealand, and on the first day, I walked in, I was working with a team, and your man goes to me, How's it going? See you next Tuesday. And I went, What do you call me? And I'll not say the word live, and I just went, What do you call me? Me just off the plane, Northern Ireland, you know what I mean? And he says, No, it means that we like you. If we're calling you see you next Tuesday, it means you like you over here. And I just went, that'll do me. That suits
Aye.
me, And oh, it was great crack. But even I think even from Painted Forward, we're all chatting away, just having a big crew of lads, together, and the crack was just 90,
That
absolute
looks
90.
that looks
And
something so dude.
you Eddie Hoyle dancing the Backstreet Boys in Westlife. You've got the tunes pumping. You have everybody taking a mick out of somebody, and just typical painter banter.
Yeah.
I think there's something about the painting trade that no other trade sort of has, which is just that sort of, I don't know, camaraderie. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is or something. But it's always nice to jump into a massive crowd of painters every once a year, and as you know from the events. But um, you were talking last night. It's something that stuck with me, Tommy, when you said about that your company you worked with back in 2008. The business owner sort of got in tough times and sort of asked everybody to sort of work for a certain rate to help them out with cash flow.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about that a wee bit more? Obviously, we don't have to mention any names, but I think it was something really struck me, and I want to sort of talk about it a wee bit more, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it'd be fine.
It's just you were talking about in 2008, obviously the credit crunch, and some
Yeah,
large building companies obviously went under, and took a lot of painting companies and tried to take a lot of painting companies with them. But, you
yeah,
know, how was that for you as an employee
yeah.
at the
It
time?
was it was hard on the squad at the time. It's like, well, you're not getting your full week's wage, but we knew what we like. The guy we were working for, he could have been like another Sir Alex. You know what I mean? Sir Alex Ferguson. He would get you. That's him. He would
Love it.
motivate you to do anything for him. He's a hell of a guy. Like, so yeah, like, if we didn't do that, you know what I mean, we would have been working and would have been having to do other things. So a lot of
So
people had
just
to be working for like £100 a week. But to make sure that he got his way back up. And that's what a majority of there was always the confrontations, like, people maybe even getting a full week's wage, not knowing and finding out, and then there was being people being upset and stuff. But he was that guy, he could talk you around the arm around you could always just remember the arm around the shoulder. Come on here, I talk to you, be all right, you all right, and then the next thing you know, you're ready to freaking sound skirting for him. You know what I mean?
so basically 2008, Tommy was saying to me, is the business owner at the time, basically the company went under, and this business owner didn't get paid, and a lot of money. It was really tough times for him, cash flow wise, and he asked his entire team to work with him, and if they could all agree to pay a certain amount of money, he would reimburse them at a certain date, and he honored that date, I believe. Isn't that right?
Yes, he did. He honored it all.
So, what really struck me about that is in the day where we're at now in 2026, you don't have a lot of these Sir Alex types,
Yeah, night
and
shift, and yeah.
and I was thinking to myself all the day today, like, if that happened again, how many employees would do that now?
No chance. Not a mission. They'd be trying to sue him.
Yeah,
So they'd be trying to sue him. Don't get me wrong. Like, even back then, I was young, and he was asking me to not take a week's wage because I remember him turning around saying to me, "Look, you're living with your dad. I've men who have houses, have children, um, and that, to me, at that point, I was like, "Mate, so I have to put my life on hold for them." But as I get older and I'm at the age I am now, I understand. Even though my dad himself was struggling because he was looking after the three of us at the time. So but
It just is
we
a
still had money coming in, and it wasn't as bad as what people are like trying to afford to keep their houses, you know. And
yeah.
yeah, um,
I think
yeah,
even there's like I said, last night, there's a lot of stuff went on when I was younger. When I was just in, working for someone and you're asked to do stuff or do things or try and understand or maybe not get paid or do something for a bit cheaper or, and even myself, I remember when I first started paintworks, like everyone was on minimum wage because
mhm,
I was struggling. I was
yeah,
struggling because I wanted to pay them more, but it wasn't there. And because I was trying to figure out rates, I was trying to figure out, I got allowed for that. And the guys were working hard, working every hour under the sun. Don't get me wrong. As soon as I could, like the money went up, no problem. And then even when I had a big squad, when you're explaining to the guys about timekeeping, about breaks, about, don't take a
yeah,
Monday off or you just can't take a day off. We need you. I know there's maybe 10 or 11, 15 people, but you're needed just
yeah.
because it's a big enough squad, and taking an hour's break and an hour's lunch and going for a shit for 30 minutes, it all
Before your
adds up.
break.
Aye, before your break or and you're just like and they're looking at you like you're an absolute there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're not right in the head. But then when you speak to them now and you're catching up with them, and they're doing sites or they've got their own teams and they maybe say, geez, you know what? You weren't actually too bad, that sort of way.
Yeah.
And and they get it. And I suppose you now with a family and your house and everything else, it does make you think, Jesus, I understand where that guy was coming from now.
Oh, 100%. You know,
Um,
I'm not afraid to admit when I was wrong, like, you know, because I was young and naive, thinking like I'm having to put my life stop my life to other people to keep going with theirs. But there's me not thinking about, them owning houses and what way he going to affect. Because then it came to even point where like when the work was dropping, certain people had to be dropped off. Like
mhm.
there was like right, I could be dropped off. Then someone else was dropped off. But then the squad got shorter and shorter because he was keeping the main guys,
Yeah,
and then that caused confrontation and all. But then he had a lot of people back and stuff. And he's still going to this day. So he is. So
brilliant,
fair
brilliant.
fair dues to him.
And like it's not easy. I mean, you're out on your own now, so you were to talk me through the journey then, Tommy. So
Yeah.
you were,
So I was out with that. At that moment in time, from what I can remember, it was I left. I can't mind if I went to Laura Fella Daniel or DMS, um, or there was a guy in Ballyclare, and there was a guy up in Portland Owen. Like I was working for like a couple of years there and there, but the main firms would have been guy I done my apprenticeship with. Then it was DMS, and then from DMS to JF,
and
Decorators before it came
D-
out to me.
DMS. You were telling me last night is where you learned you were getting on the gun
Yeah,
then, and you started.
I was doing a lot of working away. He was like before it wasn't straight off the bat. It was a lot of site work. So it was at the time too,
Yeah,
and then eventually then it came to like doing the Icelands, and then he was going across the water to Scotland. A lot of them in Scotland. And then, sorry, the freaking dogs are trying to get all over me.
real
Uh,
life, man, real
I
life.
know they're like, get the phone down. Uh,
Huh?
so they ended up, worked their way down into the England down south, and then just branched off from there, and he's been doing so well
How
for
did you
himself.
find? How did you find Tommy working away? Because a lot of guys often you'll speak, I'd love to get away, I'd love to work in England, I'd love to work in London, Dublin, you name it. So, what was your experience for working away? And do you do much working away now?
No,
Just for any.
I wouldn't really do it now, unless the freaking dough's, mega bucks, and it's only going to, if it was like a Monday to Friday every every week, that I'm able to afford to have my other half staying at home.
Yeah,
That was the only way that it would happen. You know, Working all that time away, you don't really have a life. You're with the guys, and there was even like at times there was tension between squads, and stuff like that there because you're constantly with them. You're at work with them. You're freaking the next thing you know, and you're in a
sleeping with
Weatherspoons with
them.
them.
You're laying in
Yeah,
bed with them, sharing a
smelling their
bed.
freaking hole. Uh, all that type stuff, and it's 10 days away, then 4 days, 4 days home, and then back out, and you
Yeah,
would be working 10 to 12 hours,
yeah,
in your day, and that's even going coming towards even on a weekend when you're away
yeah,
too. There was at times where it was shortened, but the majority of the times jobs needed done, so you needed to
yeah,
put the time in. So yeah, at the time, yeah, I was just going around seeing England and Scotland, Wales, and places that I probably would have never been if I wasn't for doing it.
yeah,
Yeah, making it was all right money at the time, but once it came to where I was trying to have family with Karen, you know, I needed to be having enough to justify being away if I'm going to be having a family.
yeah,
And just put it to him, this is what I wanted. He wasn't able to do it, so I was like,
yeah,
well, yeah, I'll be looking for something else. And then the opportunity came back home, but with learning of the skill of using the spray gun with him, learning that
yeah,
skill with him, I was able to then take that knowledge and then bring it home to the guy that I then worked for a while and sprayed out houses for him for Brio valves. Just one guy going in, basing out a house instead of two, maybe three guys, brushing and rolling,
yeah.
where I'm making a bit of money and he's saving a bit of money. So
It has to make sense, Tommy, doesn't it? It
yeah,
has to make sense,
100%.
not financially, but also it's sometimes not about money. It could be circumstances change, or you often think you maybe have a hobby or you have something you're dedicated to, and yes, you may do it for a few weeks, and then suddenly it's like, I don't want to give this up. So you do have to sometimes make those hard choices, which is it's not for me. The money might be, and I suppose what I'm getting at is you could be maybe making £300 or £400 extra a week, but when you break it down to what you're losing and what you're giving up for that three or four
Yeah,
hundred a
because
week,
it was dad as well, mate. 'Cause,
yeah,
like when I was at home, I was training, was getting to the gym, got in good shape, but then once you're away, you don't have the time to
yeah,
do it. Do it over there. And you
yeah,
may not even stand somewhere that has a place where you could train. It's not like
that's
you can
true.
get up early in the morning with a guy you're sharing a freaking bedroom with, and you're opening a curtain to hang, and he's probably hung over to the max, and you're starting to do burpees or push-ups or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but that's it. It's the habits. Again, first time away, it's like a honeymoon thing where it's like holiday mode where you're eating takeaways, you're eating out every night. You're living this great life. You can go out for a few beers. You're feeling like you're top of the world, but then suddenly
Yeah,
reality kicks in, and it's like after a few weeks, I'm sick of eating shit, and I'm sick of this. Where I'm not, you're not really looking after you, and you're missing the
yeah,
people you want to. You're surrounding yourself with people. Yes, you're working with, but it's not maybe somebody you want to be with 24/7, and it
24/7. Yeah,
and it does, we're talking about this today, the choices you make, and by saying yes to these, maybe what you think is a great opportunity, how much you really are saying no to. And even as much and as little as those regular habits that are looking after you, both mentally, physically, the gym, eating good food,
hmm
being able to get up and go for a run. And it does have that knock on effect in time where you, even when you're working away making great money, you're coming home and you're being an asshole to the people you care about because you're
mm
like, "Oh, I'm tired. Would you give me a break? I'm this, I'm that." And you sort of it does have that knock on effect in general, you know.
Yeah, I can remember, when we were coming home, we always had something organized to do because I was only
Yeah,
home for them 4 days. We had
yeah,
either a concert, or whatever else to be going, and you're like, I just want to freaking lie down.
yeah, yeah.
But then you're out and even on the piss or something like that as well, you know.
Yeah, but and again, you're trying to make up for being away, so you're spending more
So,
money
hi,
on the
yeah, so,
concerts, on the eating out, on the having a good time, and then you
yeah,
sort of think to yourself, is this really worth it? And then you're
yeah,
trying to maybe, I know, well, not really me, but sometimes where you're trying to show others that you're doing better, so you'll go and buy that nice top, or you'll go out and stay at a weekend away, or you'll upgrade the car just so people can know that you're doing better and you're
yeah,
making a bit more extra money. But in
yeah,
reality, you're now making less because you're fucking spending it.
yeah.
Um,
Movies, carveries, near every single day over there.
uh-huh. Oh, 100%. So what made you decide to go out on your own? Was it because you were like, you know what, I've hit a ceiling here working with employers. I can sort of see my value here, what I can achieve, or was it maybe down to having the freedom of time where you can suit yourself?
To be honest, mate, it was more the sick of site work, and the dirt that you are working in,
Yeah,
for, you know, the guy I was doing work for, the companies that he was doing the work for, they just didn't give a shit. You
yeah.
know, plaster all over sills, all over woodwork, and then he wasn't getting, you know, that was just another thing. He isn't getting any extra for flipping having to clean up after them, and you're like, it was always left to us to flipping do. And there was a schedule to be done, it had to be the same. I'm working in the cold, flipping, and they're trying to get you to still go to the hand dates, but then things aren't drying because it's the freaking heating isn't even on in the things for the paint to dry.
The
You're coming in the
woodwork's not
next
even
morning.
on.
You're like flip
It's not
me,
even
like using oil
finished.
based, and it's that cold that the next morning it's still freaking tacky, and stuff like that. And but it was that, and then that's when I started taking like price work more because I was just making that extra bit of money. But then it was more under my control,
Yeah.
than under his, and
Sorry to
more,
interrupt.
and then
Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt, Tommy, but what was it you that took it upon yourself to ask your boss at the time about price work, or was it him that presented it to you? Just to thinking for somebody out there that maybe is working for someone that has a lot of potential skill wise, mentally, to know that they're maybe a wee bit different than others in the crew.
yeah.
What was it that made you then start to look at price
He
work?
was he was already giving out. I think he was already giving out price work, so I knew it was there. Um, and then he just with the amount of work that he was coming in, he had pockets of guys taking on then sites. So then there could end up being like a two-man crew of two men trying to base out a house in a week, and they would just scatter to each certain sites and just worked it from there. So I just then with another guy that was I was alongside Willie, we decided to do that ourselves,
Yeah.
and we just started pairing up, and then started taking on a site that was in I think it was in Lisburn at the time. Um, I was went after all the stuff, when I was doing the spraying and all for him, that was all falling through. So we just like, right, just trying to get to the price work of houses and just stemmed from there.
What was the sort of, whenever you did go out on your own, what was the biggest? Because when you're an employee or even doing some price work, it's guaranteed work. You can sort of work out what you're going to be bringing in. And what was the biggest sort of, I'm not going to say reality check whenever you did go out on your own? Was there
Oh yeah,
anything that
sorry.
stood out? Or,
So yeah, it was more that the money aspect of it, because I
yeah,
knew that I could get more out there. Plus, then it was came down to like then there was the snags that were coming, like there was stuff happening in the houses that we would have to come back to fix. But then it wasn't the money for us what we were getting paid, even though it wasn't our faults. It was like we had to go back to do the fixing because it was our site. But the money that was being paid out for it just wasn't enough. We were like to travel from Antrim to the place wasn't paying for it to do. So we just fell into another guy to who was getting had other work, and we just started getting taking that on. We didn't take on any. We finished off the site that we had, and then we just branched off, sort of like just faded off, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like right, that's us, right, bye. It just
But
that's
do
the
you
way it
think,
ended.
Tommy, that would have made a difference if you had been getting paid for that? If you had been
Could
getting
have been.
paid for
That
the
could have been.
snagging,
Yeah, 100%. I believe. I believe
because
if I was
that's
getting the
usually
right
the
money, I would still there.
because
I even
usually
look at
that's
that.
the sorry to interrupt. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's the breakdown, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
where
All
you're
look at
being
all. It
asked to,
always
yeah,
is. Everyone wants to be make sure that they're making enough, and I still to this day, like every firm that I've worked for, I know that they're trying to maximize the profits, and I get it because now I've been doing it. You're wanting to make sure and you're going to maximize your profits, so you're going to try and make sure that you don't have to pay your man as much, so you're making enough. But
yeah,
then again, if you want to have the quality man to keep working for you, you're going to have to pay them.
yeah.
So you are, because you're just hearing from guys that are constantly asking for people, but they're getting people that will only do like 3-day weeks because they're drinking the rest of the day. They're not showing up. They're saying they're coming in on a weekend, but they won't come in on a week. They don't show up either. They've used every excuse under the sun to why they haven't showed up. You know, but that's what you're gonna get. If you
Yeah.
don't pay, if you don't pay your good men right, you'll lose them.
But
You
do
will.
you think it comes from the builder? It's the person above
Yeah,
them
like
because
it's not even
I
down to them as being their fault. Like I'm sure they have to be making a certain amount from the builder as well. So the builders probably pressuring them, like, oh, this guy who we also have we say we do it for this, So, but see, but then he has to worry about men that he has to keep in work. So he's going to make sure and undercut that guy to make sure that he has a flow of site work for like a lot of years coming in, just to keep. So that's just in the history of the site work. Really, everyone's always cutting each other down to the bare bone. So they are. So it's just the way it's been.
why do you think that? I know you're sort of saying basically that because you've got all the staff, you needed that constant work coming in. So you are. Is it? It's the security aspect of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
because
where
then there could be certain guys. There could be certain contractors that would pay you out weekly, but then there's ones that will only pay you like 30 days every month. There's firms that would hold a month on you as well. So that makes sure that they've got a hold on you for not if you don't want to leave, because then you have to pass for that money. There's all that type of stuff that's going on. It's
what?
which it wasn't, but it's
Yeah.
that's just the way the nature of the freaking beast in this trade.
I'm guilty of that. I remember when I started getting into sites and taking on bigger jobs and building a team up, and the QS is coming to you and saying, "Look, we really wanted you to do this 90, 100 house site, but this guy's come in and he's X amount, but we'd love you to do it, and would you do it for
Yeah.
this?" And it was just, yeah, no bother, 100%, absolutely
Mm. Knowing that
not
you're a better standard, and they're just, oh, come on in.
100%. But it's not just that; it's at the time it was ego.
Yeah,
I don't want him to get that job. Fuck him.
yeah,
It was just I want to be looked at as the guy with the big squad and the multiple sites, even
yeah,
though I knew I was going home knowing I ain't gonna make any money here.
yeah,
And like it takes a long time to sort of to be able to ego is the enemy. Great book.
Yeah.
Ego is the enemy. And you think to yourself, when you're taking on a year and a half's work or a year's work, and you're now running three, four, six guys, girls on a site, having to come up with that payment every week, and all the hassle and the stress of that, and then you're taking on all your great private awesome customers that pay, you're getting better rates, and that's now funding the stuff that's not making a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you're having to take on another team really to make, what you're out yourself really making the money that you, if you didn't have all that mess and
Hmm.
stress, especially if you're not, you're taking on stuff like that, um, you would have been better off anyway. I remember thinking to myself, like, me and these two guys were making more money than the other two teams, and then stuff started to click, and I was like, well, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Why am I carrying this load? And the amount of decorators and painters out there carrying that load every week, wondering when they're going to get paid, wondering, thinking that they need to take on this shit work to keep everybody secure. It's it's tough. It is
Yeah.
freaking tough
And it's
because.
getting tougher year on year as well, with see with the materials of everything going through the roof and
But
all
it
that
doesn't need to
there.
be that
Like,
way.
I
Doesn't need
know,
to be
and
that
because
way.
then again, like the materials going could be going up yearly, but you could have signed in. You could have signed up to a contract with the builder that's what for like in phases. So you've fixed prices for certain phases. Like you may have come in like that's how much that's going to be for that house.
That's right.
But then next thing you know, the like I was saying to you there, the other day about the prices from Dulux. You get
Paint.
like friggin' 3%, 6% that has just gone up. But then you have to accommodate out of that pricing. But you've already had that fixed contract in with the for that phase, and you have to read and then wait till that's done to renegotiate your contract with them for other prices. And that's if they turn around and go, yes, we will, or we'll go, right, see you later.
Have you ever thought about going back to being employed again?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
When you think about it
100%.
all, it
Yeah,
is
well,
hard.
you just think dude, like and I get the stress of them guys as well. Is that it's like you're constantly having go look at jobs, talking to customers. Like we used to like we used to when we were the guys that were like on the sites, and you're always seeing the guy the boss man. He's always away on his phone. He's like he's just doing that there to get away from doing a bit of work. He is literally in contact with every client, potential customer that is coming his way to make sure the flow of work is still coming in, and it may even be a dead end, but as long as he keeps right answering the call, emails, going seeing jobs, and then it's taken away from seeing his family. Like for me now, I have to do mine on weekends because my other half works evenings. I work during the day, so it's more likely I would be on a weekend where I have to say to people, look, that's when I'm calling around. Probably have to give them time frame because she may be working then the later that evening or whatever, if she takes it on.
Yeah.
But it's just constantly churning, and then it's just that, and then you have to deal with customers that they're pestering you to come out. Then you send a quote, and then next thing you know, you just see them reading it, and then they're like, "What the fuck are you? Are you going to reply back to me? Are you going to let me know? You're admin. You like, I want this date. I know you're booked up for so long. But so can you do this date? Can you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, look, we'll look. I can give you that date. We just discuss We'll just get the quote back to you. You agree on the price. Then yeah, we'll be booked in. Deposit all that there type stuff, and you send it to them, and then you don't hear, and then but they were adamant about that date, and
Yeah.
then you're like, so you're like, do you contact them right away? Do you leave it a bit? So then you leave it a bit, and then you turn around and look. You were adamant you wanted this date. There's other people here now looking in. do you still want this date because you were really looking at it to read it and still don't get back to you? You know, it just boils my blood. Is where you always see online people are like, "Oh, this guy's came out. He was going to call out, but he never showed up. He's so unreliable." It works freaking both ways. So it
Yeah.
does from customers. You know,
It's
and you,
yeah, it's like it is one of those things in the trades, isn't it? Where you go out and you try to the job, you price the job, and you're juggling. You know, you may be working late. And you're thinking to yourself, "I need to get these quotes done. I need to get these quotes done." And then the customer does, text or just checking in. Did you send that
yeah,
quote? And then you're like, yeah, leave that with me. You should have it there within tonight.
yeah.
And you go home, you get it done. You
There you
haven't
go.
had,
There's a message just came up on my phone. You know, very quick. You know, I mean,
so
you get that too, eh?
and then it's you send it and you just don't hear from them again. But it does, like I can't say anything because I've done the same where
Yeah,
I've genuinely left it that long and I've I've let them down. I haven't even got back to them. And
yeah,
I'm gonna hold my hands up. I'm not perfect. Or
yeah.
and then you feel like there's no way I can get back then now. It's been like 2 months.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they ring you and go, Jared, I'm just wondering, did you forget about me or what the crack? Oh
yeah.
Jesus, I'm glad you rang because you know what? And look, it is what it is. And
That's
I
why I've tried to tell them to try and contact me through my website now,
yeah,
through
yeah.
email. Do it that way because like people are contacting me through Messenger, but I've like loads of group chats, friends, all
Yeah.
constantly talking. So I could read that message, and next thing you know, it's not up at the top anymore. You know, and all that there. So I
It's
try to
not
get.
it's not even that, Tommy. Like we stopped. You can't contact us through Facebook.
Mhm.
We stopped that when we were getting 3 o'clock in the morning messages and phone calls and all the rest of it. And you've got Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, email,
Yeah,
phone, messages, WhatsApp. So now it's like that is why you do miss people, and it's not even. Then you've got message requests. You've got the all the. Like I found a folder. I don't know what it or I don't know what it was the other week, and there was about 10 messages in it from people from like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I'm like, what is this? You know. So again, like if you can sort of funnel it into one place, which we try and do, which is the website, email, and phone. That's the Danielle, if you haven't spoke to Danielle, you ain't getting the job priced or getting it booked in. You know, because see people that come to me and ask me, it's just,
go to her.
and I'll even write it down in my notes or write it down straight away. It's gone,
Yeah,
and then they'll end up they do contact Danielle. And Danielle says, I knew nothing about this. You know, you should. Jer didn't tell me, and I. That's just the way it is. It's just
yeah,
you have so many plates to carry and you're not perfect and
yeah,
we do beat ourselves up. I know I beat myself up, we're like even this week, in the middle of a course, I had a job booked in next week, exterior chimneys. We've been trying to get it done. It was supposed to be a couple of weeks ago, but the rain was coming. This is an expensive bit of equipment needed. I've been talking about this about 10 podcast episodes anyway.
yeah,
um I contacted the guy saying, "Look, we're all good for next week, Wednesday, Thursday. It's been rented out. It's not available." And I'm like, I asked
yeah,
you, but do you blame them? It's sunny weather. They've
yeah.
got a company to run, so if the guy takes it out and he's got it, that's it. But it's just then
Enjoy
you're
the
now
more nice
juggling.
weather, you know.
Then you're juggling all your jobs and moving the jobs, and that's just it. I just get on with it. Like even recently, I'm on my own. I have decided to move in the direction of it's just me now. Like I told you last night, and that's came with its challenges and realizing that I can't take on these mammoth projects anymore, and I'm okay
Yeah,
with that.
yeah,
I am the most comfortable I've been because it's taken me. This has been a bit of a transition where now I want to start sorting my calendar, not having it filled just anything goes. I want to be more intentional with the work that I want to do, the customers I want to do it for. I have an amazing catalog of customers, and I want to service them and do that as best I can. So when you are getting new work, you can't just say yes. You really do need to be thinking, do I need this? Is this the work I want to do? Is
Mm-hmm.
this something I'm going to enjoy doing? Um, does the customer and me get along? Is it going to be a good job? Is it going to be like you were saying last night when you're working for people that appreciate the effort, the workmanship? It makes all the difference
Oh
instead of
yeah,
somebody just saying, "Look, the last guy was in. He only took 2 days. You're still here. What's going on?" Or you know,
yeah.
uh, you know what I'm talking about. So for me, it's so easy to just fill your diary up,
Mm.
but it's actually thinking, is this the work I want to fill my diary up with?
Yeah, yeah. Totally
And
agree.
I mean that. I mean, I'm blessed. Everyone's busy, but at the same time, you don't want to be doing, a whole load of work you don't enjoy, if that makes sense. I don't know
Yes,
if
yes. As that's adding to myself, like I still do get like the odd bedroom, bathroom like type stuff, but I should really be starting to post the more pristine work that does come in because you attract what you do post really.
that's right.
Um so yeah, I need to start just instead of trying to constantly post like yeah I've just done this week, I've done that week because people see it, but then they think that that is what I do,
That's right.
and then they don't, then they will not contact, then there'll be other people that won't contact me because they see that that's the majority of what I've been doing. They'll miss out that, like, for example, doing the Caterpillar factory in Belfast. I done all up their offices, canteens, and all a couple of years ago. Doing gyms, you know, those old type houses, like I was telling you about, with the old cornicing and all that type, restoring that type work. That's all the stuff I love doing. It's what it makes for doing, being the painting, taking on those type of decent projects that I could do on myself. If I need to bring in another guy, yeah, I'm 100% do that, and I make sure I'm priced that guy in so he's paid well, because I wouldn't want to be bringing in some guy and then trying to give him as minimal as possible. I would pay him what I'd be wanting myself, and that's the way I would like to be going forward if I can. Like, even if I get bigger projects and stuff like that.
I think a lot of, I do it sometimes too, or where you feel like I need to be posting something, I need to post something or anything to be, but it's so important you're posting the work that you want to attract, as you're saying there.
Yeah.
I find when we post kitchens, we get a lot of kitchen inquiries. If
Yeah.
we post an exterior, we get loads of exterior inquiries. That's why, there's a lot of stuff I don't put up because it's
Yeah.
for previous customers that I'm happy to do it for them. As it's part of a different another, it's part of a job. The stuff obviously nice work, but
Hmm.
you know, putting you attract, what you're putting out,
Yep.
and it's very valuable. But have you ever thought about quitting the trade, Tommy?
Yeah, it's just like, again, I was saying to you about just the flaws of, the things that you have comes with being self-employed. You know, I would happily go to another painting firm to work for them if I was getting what I knew I should be getting. But then again, I know that they have overheads that they don't want to be paying me a certain amount. Like, I know if I go in with the cards, I'm going to be on a certain wage. I need to be getting my holiday pay. I need to be getting, you know, paying so much to a pension. They have to pay so much to a pension. But the other thing is, if I can't be fixed on that wages for years, because inflation gets you every freaking year, So that's where I think it's best being
Well,
self-employed. I have thought about coming out of the industry and maybe trying to take on just another job with just, like, driver's job or something like that. But then again, the jobs that do end up coming your way, that those good ones that you enjoy doing, and it draws you back in.
You see all these adverts, but and I mean, I put one up a few months ago, but you see all these painting companies, and I could probably rhyme off 10 I've seen today. Painters and decorators need it. Quality painters need it. Great
Same
rates of
AI
pay.
used model
Yeah,
to do the
same AI
yeah.
pictures. What do you think it is that's not? It's obviously not working. Why do you think it's not working? Is it because we don't have enough resources, or is it because it's not attractive enough? Because maybe when they do contact, what is on offer, and
Yeah, because
it's not good
again,
enough.
I'm seeing like the list of things that the employer wants from the person that they're going to employ. Um, so they're asking, right, CSR card. I want you to have your own tools. I want to have your you want you to have your travel. We'll pay you this for that. But then again, you probably want them to be self-employed themselves, being a subby. So then they should have for owning their own tools, owning their own van, paying their insurance. They're supposed to have public liability. So, but then you're trying to pay them a week's wage, but then they have so many overheads that they're going to to be running them to do what you want in that list.
That's right.
So you need to be paying a lot more, you know.
So it comes down to then the bigger question: is it because the rates in Northern Ireland aren't good enough in general?
Yeah, 100%. But then you have a stigma of it's just painting, you know. It's like some outfits, some shop fits outfits. If they can't get a painter to do the job, they'll probably ask a joiner to do a bit of like a paint, and they'll like, that's passed, you
Yeah.
know. Just do that. Like I've seen numerous times, companies are looking at looking at painter to go here, there, and everywhere. Staying overnight just to do touch ups here and there, and it's just not fucking worth it,
So
you
I'm gonna
know.
challenge you. I'm gonna challenge you, right?
Right.
So you're the biggest painter in Northern Ireland, and you may well end up being. So let's stay
I'm
fucking optimistic here, right? But
39, mate. It's long gone.
well, my point is this: what would you offer someone coming into you as an employee that would be so attractive? What's your vision of an ideal scenario? Because you're right in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Everything's
You would want.
subcontractors, but I'm asking you, you said there as an employee coming in, you would easily go and work, because I know a lot of painters out there needing resources,
Hmm.
and there's some that are offering employee roles, some are offering subcontractor roles, and I'm asking you, because some may listen to this, some may not, but I'm asking you, and for those coming up in the trade too, like, what do you think um is an attractive opportunity? Because as going
I
in
don't
as an employee,
for the
what would you
if
offer?
I would for me to employ people. If I was one of the big dogs in the country, I would be making sure that my men are paid well, and I'd be taking less profit. I don't. As long as I'm in profit, and I'm continuously in profit, but I wouldn't be taking extortionate. I'd be making sure that my man is
And
well
women.
looked after. So would what was that?
And women.
I'm women, yeah, yeah, yeah. Men and
But
women in the right way.
what is looked after mean? Because money isn't the answer.
But the
Because
thing is like
I know people offering some fantastic um uh money and rates out there, but they're still not getting them. So what is it? Do you think
honestly,
it's
but then that's what I would be offering. But then the thing is that there's not. I don't think there's the guys that used to be are out there anymore. That's
do
why
you think
you're
the
finding.
Do you think the loyalty's changed?
Yeah, I like. I don't think. I don't think there's many guys out there that would bend over bend over backwards for people anymore. They could just jump shit there and to anywhere. But then there's guys there that anyone that is decent is already out on their own.
Yeah, because they've had
So they
to.
are because they've had to because they're sick and looking to their left, looking to their right to and seeing like I have no work with this fucking idiot and he's coming in smelling a Stella. You know what I mean? And like and you're putting in the effort in
Sure,
and it
all
makes
painters are drug dealers anyway.
I know God knows how many times I've been sent that reel, you know. But
All
yeah,
painters are drug dealers. That is a
yeah,
belter.
yeah. Just anything to keep us going, huh?
I must be the
Um
I'm the only one not driving a Mercedes in fairness, so I don't know. There could be a bit
And
of truth
there's
in that.
me, and like for business, and I have my other half still driving around in a 2011 Renault Clio. You know what I mean? And there are
Brilliant.
people are trying to think that I'm freaking, making big dough. You know, but yeah, I just that's the way I would look at it. Is for the if you're one of the big dogs, just look after your main man and just yeah, just make sure and look after them. Make sure they're paid well. Looked after, make sure that you're on the cards with them and keeping them comfortable so they don't have that feeling of that there's a better opportunity somewhere else. Because once you lose a good tradesman, it's hard to find another to fill that void. So
And that's
yeah.
the problem. So, from my own experience, and everybody wants security.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to know that everything's okay. And
Mhm.
I myself have kept some awesome humans working for me for many years. And then, for instance, a job gets moved or something happens within your personal life and you maybe get shaken up a bit and you're not maybe on the ball and maybe your schedulings went down a wee bit and you end up having 2 or 3 weeks free. And then
Mhm.
suddenly it's, what's going on?
Mhm.
Sorry about that. I've maybe messed up. Look, I'll get you sorted with work. With sort of, there's been a cancellation or something's happened. And right, okay. And then suddenly it's, I don't know if it's going to cut the mustard anymore, G. I need to be making sure I'm okay. And I
Mhm.
get that. And that's the difference. If you're not on the ball and you're not looking after staff and you're not, and that's what I mean as a business owner. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because you
Mhm.
can be paying people the best rates, giving them the best opportunities. And it could be something that's down to maybe something personal going on in your life, maybe a death in the family, maybe someone's in your close to you has got ill and you're everything just as you know, we all go through it where
Mhm.
work isn't your priority.
Mhm.
And you do slip up because you're human. You've got emotion and suddenly you lose people
Yeah.
and you're like, Jesus. And then because they like that working with that person, then they're away too.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this guy feels like he's on his own and he feels out of place. So he goes too. And
Yep.
then very quickly, your entire that comfort zone is just boom, it's gone.
Yeah.
So and you could bend over backwards for people. You could give them the best of everything and help them out. But um money, it's sometimes nothing to do with money. It's just something, it may be something to do with maybe not getting enough attention. Maybe they're not getting enough of your time. Maybe, like I said, they feel like you're slipping up and I'm away. I've got a better
It
opportunity
could even
here.
be down to could have been down to like whatever like certain guys have been getting to certain jobs and stuff like that. Where you're probably thinking that you're not getting that handy number, and it causes tension. It causes
That's
tension
right. And
in the
also a bad apple, a bad apple
yes.
within the firm, a bad apple can bring down a whole business,
Oh yeah, hundred
you
percent.
know, and it can ruin the whole company culture. So,
Yeah.
anybody that's, um, I suppose, just listen to your team. I
Mhm.
find like I remember members of my team at the time coming to me, sort of saying, in a subtle way, you know, some stuff's going on that you wouldn't like type thing, and
Yeah,
me sort of saying, be dead on because that person's maybe making me a lot of money.
yeah.
But actually, that same person can bring the whole house down at times.
That same person is leaving a bad taste in other
Customers' mouths,
employees'
employees.
mouths, and you're like, then it starts to get stale, starts to get
Yeah.
annoying, and then like I need out of here.
And that's where you got to be a leader and and own it and be a good
Yeah,
and take
don't
action.
hide away from it. Yeah,
And say that, it's your business and you're the one to make the calls. Don't let it become where the calls get made themselves and, life happens and
yeah.
suddenly you realize that you've no team, you've no money, and the jobs aren't being accepted and standards have dropped because you've taken it for granted that, oh, it'll be all right, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
God, there's so many challenges, like, isn't there?
Yeah, but then again, you've now got the challenge of even getting apprentices in nowadays. Like it's the cost of trying to have an apprentice in, and I don't even know if there's. Last time I checked for an apprentice, it was the only training place that was somewhere in Uri. I don't know if there's anywhere else now. Um, but even to have an apprentice now, I'm trying to. Obviously that's going to affect how you price jobs because they have to be on a certain wage now these days. Where like back in the day when I served my time, um, the guy was giving me 20 quid a day. Then I was getting my tax money, but then I was working in Burger King at the time as well. So it was, so I was doing that there to make. I felt like I had more money then, to be honest, than I did do now. With me, it's out there
But but
Thursday,
but
Friday,
but
Saturday
but
night.
even like, how much does it cost to be a decorator now? You know,
Yeah, I
to
think
go out.
all the gear,
I remember going out on my own, and it was a pole, a scuttle, a couple of brushes, your drop sheets, your brush mate, which are obsolete. I haven't seen a brush now. I haven't had any brush mates, personally now in a long, long time. 2010 to
I
be
would have
precise.
been last year. I actually got rid of mine. The
Is you?
formula had changed. The formula has
So
changed in it, so it hasn't doesn't last as long. So
And I actually think I was, if you think about it, to go out on your own as a painter now, you need about, you need about 20 grand
hmm
just to get the basics, the sprayers, the Merca systems, the this,
yeah,
the that, the van,
and you're seeing
it's,
you're seeing now it's even going beyond that as well. Is that now I'm getting people contacting me because it's all about the fancy paneling now as well.
mm,
So people are asking me to do the paneling. Like I
yeah.
know I'm a decorator and you need to get a joiner. Oh, I've seen on the likes of people on Instagram, TikTok, people here putting the paneling all up the walls, and then they're doing the painting themselves. So they are. That'd be an opportunity for anyone who's going to be coming in, if wants to come into a trade and learning the painting and try and get the journey on the side of it at the same time, because doing them at the same in the same business, you could freaking make a killing.
Well, I get a lot of that even through the academy. I get
Yeah,
carpenters, joiners, I get guys that do paneling because they want to be able to offer that spraying service.
yeah.
They want to be able to
Media
do
walls,
one stop shop because,
yeah.
you know, yes, um, because maybe uh if you think about it logically, as decorators from working into somebody who's done a really shit paneling job, you know, you just end up going, you know what? I'm going to do this myself because at least I know I'm going to caulk it properly, fill it properly, sand it properly.
Yeah,
And like we are going in to do paneling stuff. They've maybe said, like, this is what it's going to be. You priced up, you walk in, the joiners filled it with caulk, all the holes were caulk. They've
and there's
used
not even a
foam.
primer; it's all bare, so that's going to end up opening up
Oh,
sometime down the line.
and it's just a shit show. And then you're like, this is more work.
Yeah,
Um, And like, what do you do? So you can see why. I know quite a lot of successful paneling and painting business owners who have one on here, Mike. But it seems to be the way it's going, and a lot of multi trades. But sure, now in the colleges, a lot of them is this multi trade aspect where it's painting with a wee bit of joinery, a wee bit of plastering or plumbing. I don't know for sure, but as far as I'm aware, it's a construction skill, or maybe I don't know what talking out
Is
of
it
my
right?
ass
So
here.
it's not a Pacific trade anymore. It's
Yeah,
like a
so well,
all
there,
round.
there there is, but there's also I think the colleges are doing like a I don't know what it's called, but I do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me, but I think it's something to do with sort of multi trade or because there's not enough people to fill the paint and decorating courses. You know,
Yeah,
there's not enough people for them to justify it. So it's all went private. You know, it's all when
yeah,
private companies are now doing the paint and decorating, offering the MVQ, and it is a numbers game. Um,
yeah.
and it's bringing people in, but again, they're struggling to get these young people into employment.
Hmm.
And I believe it should be, it should be the government should be incentivizing the employers to take them on. It should be
Yeah,
them that should be making it attractive for us as business owners to
yeah,
say, this makes sense. Why would you do anything that doesn't make sense?
yeah,
Why are you gonna, like the government's taking enough office? Why are we gonna take on another bill? And yes, you could
yeah,
say yes, but it's long term. But who says it's gonna be long term?
yeah,
The amount of effort, work, costs, pensions, insurances, everything we're paying or employers are paying. And for someone to say, you know what, I actually don't like this anymore after 2 years, so
yeah,
the business isn't seeing the benefits, if that makes sense. So in my
yeah,
opinion, they should be paying uh business owners very well to get people, not only just apprentices, but I believe people who are not working,
yeah.
people
But
that are
I
good.
honestly believe that like you seen it from when my other half was in university. I think she was like, I think it was her year or was it the last year. Um, or the year after her, where is where they stopped giving the grants out
Yeah.
to for people to help them go to university and stuff like that there. So once that all started, you just seen the downfall from them not wanting to fund anything. And you see even the government, like even our like the mainland infrastructure of like our own supplying our own stuff has all been shipped off, and now we're paying twice as much to ship stuff in for like materials like steel, all that type of stuff, because all that's near from gone from here. So you're not they're struggling with other things to be for providing funding for in the country, where I can't see them for been wanting to fund businesses to help on taking on apprentices just yet. There'll need to be a change in government at some point for that to turn around, and it'll be a freaking hard time for when it does turn around.
But I know I had an idea. So, like last night, I was saying to you, like anyone that isn't able to get a job or isn't working, should you're got like, they're being paid X amount of money to sit at home, and maybe yes, they don't want to be sitting at home, and maybe yes, they're sitting there
There'll
waiting
be a
for this.
minimal amount of them people
you
that'll be
know
doing that.
the amount of people that are waiting for this really special job or this opportunity that doesn't exist, when actually the trades are crying out for people to come into them.
Mm,
Whereas if they're being paid this payment every week or month, I don't know what they're getting, but at least if they were like given the opportunity to go, at least jump in with a trade and learn a skill and
mm,
be paid. So yeah, we're gonna pay you, but you're gonna go and help or work or learn, get some
yeah,
experience that's gonna make money and pay taxes. Instead
yeah.
of just take. But maybe
Then,
that's
then,
a
but then, like there's people there that are getting they're probably the highest amount you can get off the benefit system. People are freaking making for sitting on their asses with having a lot more children,
mhm.
and I'm like, for me, I'm like, I'm not coming near that with fucking making that amount of money. I like to hope so at some point I will, but not making close to what they're getting for sitting on their holes, you know. And then with me being self-employed, and then there's like, see, for like anything benefits that we could try and get, it then affects me because I'm self-employed and showing certain amount that I earn and all this. You could go on about it, you know,
It
honestly.
could, but and again, it's the whole thing of the self-employed where some life does happen. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the guys in the Irish Paint Farm group, he was saying this week he was on a podcast at the Talking Tradesman. Rob, he broke his leg, was out for 6 months and didn't get a single penny. You know, like how like and it's the same. My own family members of my own family who were stricken with illness and sickness and nothing. And these are people that have worked their whole lives, have
Mm-hmm.
contributed to society their whole lives, paid taxes their whole lives, given up, given everything,
Mm-hmm.
and want to work and are now unable to, and
Mm,
unable to do that, and the mental load that brings. But then
yeah.
whenever you go to ask for help, and they say, but you're self-employed. You're not entitled to anything.
Nah,
Again,
no.
there's that sort of mindset too of why would you be? What is the incentive of going
Yeah.
out and learning a trade or learning something? And I think it's up to us. What would you say to somebody thinking of becoming in the paint and decorating industry?
For me, you would need to be making sure that you're in with a decent company,
Yeah,
and you're not stuck in one area, and you're learning multiple aspects of the trade.
yeah.
You can't be just thrown onto a site and just, you know, where it's just bare and you're able to, slap away on walls because there's no flooring down, all that type stuff. You'd need to be doing various different types of work within the trade to learn. So from doing new builds, from doing shop fitting, hospitality type stuff, just to learn a range of it all and not being stuck to one thing.
Well, that was one
Um,
of the things I went up to workforce training with Sandra, and I met about 10 young lads up there, and I asked them for this is a couple of years ago, and 2024, and I was excited. I was pumped. I thought this was class. Seeing what was going on. These guys were flying. And I asked them, and they were saying to me that they were pissed off. That's what they were. They were
mm,
pissed off. I says, why? Why? Um, you know, you've got young guys coming in, and you hear a lot about the young don't want to work. It's bollocks.
mm,
Yeah, you may know somebody doesn't want to work. Um, I've seen firsthand, um, 10 young lads, various ages, sort of 16 up to maybe 20, I think, something like that, maybe a wee bit older. And they all say the problem was they're going out to commercial painters. They're being stuck with people that are not pumped, they're not energized, and it's slapping paint on. And they're being
Out
told
for
to
the
do it.
smoke breaks.
They're being told to do it right. They're being told to do it right. They're being told to meet this standard. They're being told to be on time. They're being told to do X, Y, and Z. And then bang, the guy beside him's like, I couldn't be arsed doing this. Don't want to be here. Slap it on. And they're
Yeah,
going, what's the point? And this guy's on triple what I'm on. And
yeah,
I think that's a big problem. But it's only the big ones can take them on.
yeah, yeah,
There's not enough.
100%.
Like, you think of the amount of quality decorators out there who need and would love to have a young set of hands coming in to invest in, having the business to teach the trade, as you say, all the nice private stuff where you really learn the trade. That's where you learn the
Mm,
craft. That's where
Yeah.
I learned the craft. And to get in with someone that enjoys it.
Yeah.
I had a young lad asked me for a job even a couple of weeks ago. His own parent is a painter, and because he was being thrown in with guys in
Just
the
another
squad,
hair.
and just he just said to me, he says, "Jerry, I just don't. It's shite, to be honest with you. I don't like it." And then he came in and done a course with me, and he said he was that pumped. He said, "If you've ever, I will come in and work for free." And I'll come in and make tea. And I just, he says, I love the energy, I love the crack, and I really enjoyed, and I went, look, when I get back from holiday, we'll have a chat, but it's not really the road I'm going down. I'm going down the training road and
Yeah.
doing sort of working with myself. But I love that where he's actually
Yeah.
went, you know what, I am going to be mature enough to say, this isn't going to work me working with my own dad. I'm thinking of maybe taking life by the horns and saying, I'm going to start my own journey.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of think that's really what my biggest point is. There's not enough help out there for contractors
No.
and an incentive as well to say, look, this is what we can do for you. If you can get young people, and not even young people, I have a big argument where there's a plenty of people out there that are doing work they hate. And hate's a strong word, but they hate their job, they hate what they're
Yeah.
doing, and they enjoy working with their hands, they enjoy painting, they enjoy their craft, they enjoy all these things, but they can't leave and take a leap into a trade because of the bills. They're
Yep.
being governed by the bills, and that is totally understandable. So I also think there should be something um where there should be an incentive for those people also to maybe look at the avenue of learning a trade part-time
Yeah.
and things
Yeah.
like that, because that's what that I love the trade. The trade's class. It's just we
Yeah.
need, people need to be coming in the right channels. And, it isn't a matter of you've no need to wing it. You can get yourself in great circles, great contractors, learn the trade and get out there. I've seen it
Mm-hmm.
done. I have seen painters working from various different jobs and backgrounds get them a really good painters and leave jobs, full-time jobs, get into the painting trade and are flying and they're doing
Great.
class work, you know. But it's different if you're just gonna pick up a brush and try and wing it, and you're only gonna cause yourself pain
Yeah.
because you don't know what to charge. You don't know the craft. Yes, you can find out. I taught myself after 21-year apprenticeship, but it, you can choose a really hard road, or you can
Mm-hmm.
go down the right routes. College doesn't necessarily make a good painter.
No, it doesn't. No.
Okay, so that's the big argument I have. It'll certainly tell you the very basics and etc. But I think it comes down to the people that you're learning the trade with, and
Yep.
it's the
100%.
people that also enjoy the trade, also love the craft, and are passionate about leaving a great finish and a great result for the customer.
Yep. 100%.
You know,
Making sure there's no snags.
what do you think the future's looking like for the trade here? In our neck of the
Mate,
woods.
honestly, could you hold that thought before my phone dies? I
Absolutely.
feel like I'm going to get my charger here. Two
Well, I'll
seconds.
if you want to go get organized and come back in again,
Yeah, all I need to do is just get the charger, and I'll be there for 2 minutes.
no bother. 2 seconds. So, Tommy is running out of battery. We are an hour and 20 minutes in. We had a comment on TikTok there. I don't know where it went. Um, I can't really read it. I'm not sure what that's talking about, but yeah, I think there is a big question. I think there's no money. They say there's no money. There's no money here. There's no money for that. No money for this. But who's going to do this work in 10 years, 15 years? Who's going to be painting houses, businesses? Who's going to be plumbing the houses, the businesses, plastering, uh, fitting the electrics? If we don't make it attractive for people coming into the industry. And there's so much negativity and different things in the world and things going on. But I think we have an opportunity. There's so much opportunity, so much work out there, and I know for a fact there's plenty of contractors would love to bring in new workers, apprentices or new workers, but there's no real um incentive to do so. Really, I don't think, you know. So I forget where were we, Tommy, because I went off on
Sorry, I
one.
apologize about that.
I'm getting
Seeing
into
the
proper sort of philosophical. Let's help the industry and let's
yeah,
change government.
aye, yeah, yeah. Let's get the movement going.
Let's stop worrying about
Yeah,
the boats.
let's
Let's
get the
get up
party
there.
poles out. Never mind the
Let's help the
pitchforks.
painters. Let's get the painters in.
Yeah, that's right. Aye,
Who's gonna carry the boats? That's more like it. You bit of Goggins.
aye. Flip me. There'll be a lot that needs to happen for it needs to change. You know, you'll need a completely new government to be in to shift around. It's been declined for so long, so there is needing a shift for anyone that like for help to come in because we're every government that comes in we're taxed
That's
constant.
right.
There needs to be a break. You know, I
There seems to be a new tax with every new, like, I don't know, every
yeah.
couple of months. It's just like there's a
Then
tax tax for
I
broccoli.
I try not to go down this. I didn't want to be going down really this right because
We've got to keep it positive here, Tommy. We have to
yeah,
keep it
exactly
positive.
that. I don't want to be going down that right because I've guys that a friends with who would be on the other side where like yeah, tax the rich, tax them all, you know, but that means that the rich leave. That
That's
means the
correct.
tax burden that what they would be taxed on now then since they're gone goes to the next bracket and when that bracket's gone comes to the next bracket because there's now so many people that's now leaving the UK and there's just the average person is now leaving. I know of a good few people I speak to it is leaving. One's actually just landed up in Spain. Um, he actually drove all the way down from he from England, got the Dover boat over and travelled all the way down. So he did. So yeah, it's gonna come to like the average person that's going for the tax on, and it's just going to get harder and harder. So there is going to be a need of change in the government to try and swing this round. But then again, you're at the people who you're asking for to change it around. They're labeled by certain things and stuff like that. But we'll not try
Hmm.
to go into anywhere near that in this
On
podcast.
on taxes and money, I met you last year in person. I had a wee pricing mastermind. I wanted to try and help with pricing and different things and bring people together and community. What brought you to that? Did you find it beneficial? Did it make you
Found it
think?
great, mate. I appreciate it, and I wish I'd done it sooner because, like I've said to you before, that guys that like I would have went to go for to ask like for how do you price this, you know, how do you know like rates for that and all that there. They're like, nah, you can't be asking me that, man. You're not competition. You know, I'm like, these guys are on fucking big, huge fucking building sites, shop fitting jobs. Do you think little old me is going to turn around and be able to take over you? You
Hmm.
know, and yeah, coming speaking to you, and then that finding out that what from what I did find out from that the first 2 years out my own, I was eating away at savings and savings and savings and savings, and that was the realization of my prices. I was trying to then stay at a threshold where other people were. and not at the threshold that I needed to be to live and to make money. So I was lucky enough that I had a good whack of money savings there to realize that. So then I could correct that, which I have. I do get a lot of people that do come to me and go like, what the fuck, you're like double the price of this other guy. But I'm like, well, I need to be making this amount of money before I'm out that door.
So
So
you're
that's
really
it.
talking about, Tommy, you're really talking about your operating costs then?
Yep, all operation costs, like your like for the
Was
running
that
of a
was
bus.
that would that have been then your biggest takeaway from that,
Yeah,
or did you know
100
that
100%.
beforehand?
100%. I was more that I just like was ballpark. I right. This is what the average person that I know that is on a week's wage. I just want to be making more than the week's wage. Then it's the materials on top, and I know a lot of people do, but I don't. I charge the materials of what it is. There's a lot of people out there would maybe put a wee bit more on top of it because of they're using their discount or whatever. Um, but I try to be as fair as possible. Try to make it to as fair as I can. And there's people still come back to me and go like, I've had this guy out and he's able to do it and for way half than what you're asking. Like that's fair enough.
They just can't afford you, Tommy. That's it.
Yeah. Are they public liability? Are they paying tax? I take it they're going around with a bag for life. You know. Uh.
And I think the biggest, like, that was my biggest turning point. I talked about it, that event, was realizing my operation costs, knowing what my business needed to make per day, um, so that I could know what to charge, and know that whenever I did charge for a job and the customer did say, "Look, can you do it for maybe £500 cheaper?" I was
Mm,
able to say with confidence, no. And
mm,
again, I talked about it before previously, being booked up for 6 and 8 months at the wrong price is it grinds you down. And
mhm,
that's why I will talk about it. I'll talk about rates to anybody. Um,
mhm.
it's a scarcity mindset. There's so much opportunity out there, and anybody that does that mindset of, I'll not tell you my rates, and I'll not tell you, where did you find out your rates?
Yeah.
Where did you learn where did you get your opportunities?
Yeah.
Um, it's helping the next one up. When you climb the ladder, you look down, you look who's down below, and you pull them up with you, because
Yep.
the end, it means then ultimately, when we're all thriving and we're all doing well and we all reach the beach together, we all
Mhm.
get to the other side. You have those people to fall on, to help you out, to do a bigger job, to do another
Yep.
job. It's the mentality of, we can all do this. There is
Yeah. And there's
enough
all
for
the work out there.
everyone.
Yep.
And what happens is, when you're not helping people with rates, when you're not helping people, the Irish Being Fan WhatsApp group, guys will often put in, I think Vincent said about it in the last episode, he put in and asked the guys in the group and girls, look, this is what I'm thinking of doing. I think it was a media wall or a kitchen or something. I'm not entirely sure. And 3 or 4 people jumped in and went, like, Vincent, you're well underpriced here. Charge this. This is what I'd be charging for this. And you can look at that as if, oh shit, I'm too cheap. Or you go, happy days, I've got some clarity here. Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if I told you to charge £20 a meter, or I told you to charge £100 a door of a kitchen, it's irrelevant
Mhm.
to what you need and your business needs to earn. So you
Mhm.
can use it as a reference point. Um, but it's your bills, your fixed costs need to be covered.
Yeah.
So even if I did say, right, there's the rates, and you go, right, charge it up, and then there's the total price, and it works out that you're making less than what you need to make, it's completely irrelevant anyway.
Yeah. And then there are pensions there. You've got you have
Do
to
you know what I
worry about.
mean?
your holidays and
So
stuff.
and that's why, I was I felt like having that event, and just having opening up those conversations, because there's plenty of room for them. So there is,
Mhm.
because nobody needs to be wondering. No one needs to be no one needs to be struggling. Yes, we
Mhm.
all we all face those constant daily, weekly, monthly issues. But when it comes to pricing, managing, being a better boss, being a better leader, get into a group that wants to help you.
Mhm.
Don't be
Totally
in a
agree.
group. Don't be surrounding yourself with people that say, "I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to get involved with that." That's gonna
Yeah.
uh that says more about them.
I still believe that it could be what they've learned from whoever they previously got their knowledge from. You
It's
know.
like this. I compare it to when I came back from New Zealand. I didn't want anyone else knowing how to spray. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I was taught how to. Somebody, Jerry De Bruyne, his name was, taught me how to spray. He was class, right? I asked him, please teach me this, right? And he gave up his time. Now, he didn't want to teach anybody either. So that's where
Mm.
I sort of got it from. But
Yeah.
he taught me, and I thought, I am going to take over back home here. I am going to bring this into people's houses, new build sites. This is going to be great. I'm going to be the fucking best thing since the toaster. And I get back and started doing it, and then started taking guys on. And the guys that I talked about previously were, I do all the spraying. Can I learn how to? No, I'm the sprayer. I'm the big dog. I'm Big Papa Pump. Let's
Yeah.
go. And
I
then
don't want you
again,
to know, so you can go and
no,
do what I'm doing.
exactly.
Yeah.
But this is where this is my main point. I couldn't do all this work and had to turn it away because I was the only sprayer. I can't be in 2 or 3 places at once. So you're costing yourself money.
Mm.
This is what I mean. You can have a scarcity, you can have that sort of negative outlook, or you can have the positive outlook, which is, I'm going to train you up. I'll earn more. We can take on more, and we can go together.
Mhm.
And it's the same as, where ultimately when people leave businesses or they move on, there's usually a fallout, or there's that wee breakup period, and it's just like breaking up a woman, a missus. It's over. It's
Yeah.
hard. You spent every single last minute, hour, day, week, you name it, and then suddenly they're away. And there
Yeah.
has to be that wee sort of cool off period. And then you have to remember that you can bring them up. And if you keep those good relationships, it doesn't have to be that way. But the crack, the real world is, when they leave, fuck them. but but now, like, I'll speak, and I'm just like, well, look, you can look at it that way, or you can say, wish them all the best, encourage them, and say, look, let's go. But it's
Yeah.
different if someone shafts you. It's different if
Yeah.
someone lets you down and does something, that possibly harm your name or your business, or costing
Yeah.
your family bread. you know
Yeah.
that's a different story. But those good people, those great decorators, that you've trained and helped and worked alongside, that's a reason for building and helping, and moving forward with them, not sort of cutting ties and burning bridges.
Yeah. 100%.
um but and I think, as the community of decorators in Northern Ireland, are starting to come together and starting to work together, it is exciting. It is good because you can ring and reach out to those others out there and ask for help and say, look, do you want to jump on this with me? The problem is you got to be organized, because the minute you put into the forums, look, mate, I need a hand tomorrow, you're gonna get you're gonna get the certain types that are always
Yeah.
available, that are always charging the highest rates, and they're
Yeah.
always there to shaft. Yeah, I call them the painting prostitutes, you know. They always leave you with something, and that's
No,
usually work.
why?
That's usually work to fix, and the charge the leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
So,
One way to put
but
it.
well, look, the crack. when
Yeah,
it's scheduling, isn't it? It's not being
yeah,
prepared, it's not being organized, and you get yourself into a corner and you need the help, you're desperate, you bring these people in, you end up having to do it again half the time.
yeah,
Whereas if you can be more organized and reach out to those great decorators and give them a month's notice, 2 months notice, and
yeah,
have, I was dynamite for that. Whereas you can be organized, you can get some really
yeah.
good
You would
help
get
out
them,
there.
yeah.
You
I
can get,
do. I get the odd guy, rings me to see. Like, could you? I've like this, that, and the other to do, but I need it done. I need it started in 2 days. I'm like,
yeah.
it's like you may try and get the bag for life people, because even though they may be a liability to you, because I'm not going to be free. You know,
How, what's the biggest story or biggest lesson over the last 4 years out on your own? Have you any good stories that maybe you were just like that was a holy shit moment and again, like a fork in the road moment for you, Tommy?
you know what? A fork in the road would have been marketing.
Yeah,
Marketing. Um, Always worried of um like I've been painting for years, but then there's people that I've known for years. They're all like, "Fuck man, I keep forgetting you're a decorator." You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, cheers.
drug
Um,
dealer.
Try, yeah. What do you do again? So yeah, but I actually learned that from I got that encouraged by a guy I used to trained at his gym, Aaron. He owned Evolve. Like he's pummeling and up marketing, and he's constantly getting new customers in and in. And seeing that, I was like, well, yeah, I'll started up my own Facebook page and stuff like that. It's only took to now to actually do have a website, but I was always word of mouth, but I was always like 2 weeks ahead of myself,
Yeah,
always. But there was always that worry of, oh, it is only 2 weeks.
yeah,
Those 2 weeks, it could always be something that no, that 2 weeks doesn't even be there.
yeah.
So I wanted to be further on booked. So I went down the marketing route and done the page, put up posted work, and try to keep posting, and it just keep coming in.
Uh,
So it has, and
Is that
uh,
most of your work was like when you first started out on your own? Was it word of mouth? Was it family,
just word of
friends?
mouth.
Was it
Yeah,
contacts? How did you evolve into getting more work? Was it simply through social media? What's been your
social
biggest
media. Yeah,
lesson in marketing for somebody going out on their own over the last 4 years? What was a real game changer for
just
you?
just constantly making that page constantly before the before and afters that were being put up. Just and constantly be trying to be in people's heads. So, for instance, like you could have a lot of jobs done, but don't just fire them all up at once.
Yeah,
Base them out. So you're posting. So because you could fire up load of ones, and then some person could be like, I need to get in contact with that guy, but then they'll forget about you because of their own life, and then next thing
yeah,
you haven't posted up in a long time. But if you
yeah.
have continuing posts going up, you're reoccurring, you're going to stay in people's minds more.
Consistency.
That's yeah. So that's that was a big change, and then I started seeing myself being month, 2 month, 3 month, yeah, and started booking ahead. So yeah, as long as I can keep that distance ahead of me, then I'm happy enough.
Again, I just think it comes down to, I mean, the biggest lesson for me is letting people know who you are and what you're
Hmm.
about and what you stand for. And I think, yes, you can put your before and afters up, but I think how do we stand out in the big bowl of decorators in the
So you
country?
describe. That's where I was
You know,
thought right. Describe myself, what I'm doing, why
yeah,
I'm doing it, and stuff like that as well to show that. For example, for like a new build, why? why these things are cracking, explain why it's cracking, and from when they were built, and what I would do to rectify it, why I'm doing it, why I'm using like the certain specific things to make sure that doesn't happen for you again, and all that there. So yeah, it's just explaining to them, and then they'll probably read it. Hopefully they'll read it and go, yes, that's the guy I need.
Yeah. Because like I social media is so powerful, but also you do need that website because I find that yes,
Yeah,
we will put stuff up on social media, but then they want to see is it legitimate. You know,
yeah,
they'll go to the website, then they'll go to Google, and when they're there, they're maybe looking at reviews, or they'll go to, the next best thing, and then
yeah,
they'll maybe ask around. So, but I think nowadays, more and more, um talking about your processes, talking about the jobs you're doing, why you're doing it, and letting them in on the journey that you're taking with the
yeah,
job, if that makes sense. So,
yeah.
I find that to be good. And I couldn't be in front of the camera. Fuck's sake, now I've got a podcast, and it's like, I don't know how that happened, but again, you just sort of, as I said to you last night, it's just me and you having a conversation, and you just talk into the camera and just talk about your day. And people are interested. They are looking at the projects going, that looks class, and maybe giving people
Yeah,
inspiration. And then you do stick in their mind. And as you say, consistency. So you might only do a story, you might only do a post, you might do a reel or something. But as long as you're showing up, you will be in people's minds,
yeah,
and it will help you, get exposure and get out
hmm,
there, you
yeah,
know. Um, so what are you up to at the minute? You're doing a big house, is it?
yeah. So I was up outside Kells. I've been there for maybe just over a month now.
Yeah.
Uh, Turning their house around. It's a beautiful house, so it is. So yeah, I'm going to be away to Germany here tomorrow, so I'll be back at it when I come back to them on the Tuesday. Just a couple of exterior doors to do, a bathroom with a lot of water damage. So yeah, just that there, and then I'll be done out of there, and then I can't even mind where I'm going to be at next. But beautiful house to be working at, old like style cornicing and all that type stuff, and how in the rooms and stuff. Yeah, so.
And you're not outside in that beautiful weather.
No, everyone's like when you go to the shop and you're in the morning, I get my coffee and I'm working out in that beautiful weather. I'm like, hell no, I'm ginger. I can't be out in that freaking weather. I'd be working in the
Oh,
shade where like guys I used to work for, they would go with the shade or with the sun, whatever way it goes. Right, we'll start at this side and work our way around wherever the sun's going. I'm like, nah, fit me
yeah.
sweltering. So
And
I've two
uh,
outsides to do this rest of this year. So yeah,
oh,
hopefully, hopefully it's not as warm when I come to doing them anyway.
we've been baked inside here all week. Absolutely, it was like, I don't know, it was like a sauna. 4 men sweat. Oh, it was the crack we had. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
just, it was
is that the
mental, but.
Academy? Yeah.
Yeah, so this week I done an in-house kitchen refinishing course in a customer's house. So,
Oh yeah.
um, I've been asked quite a lot about, what if I'd love to get into kitchen refinishing, but I don't have a unit and I don't have this. And a few people asked me then about vertical spraying and airless only. And I decided then a few months ago, I advertised the first live event in-house airless sort of vertical system, even though we did some horizontal spraying. And
Mhm.
3.5 days we completely transformed the kitchen, and it was absolutely fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Um, Great bunch of guys, and lots of lessons, lots of mistakes, lots of crack, and everyone was just, it was just like, just a great bunch of lads. And
Yeah.
so we finished that up today. I was a bit delayed there because I was getting it all wrapped up and tidied up and organized. But it was good fun, but everyone was saying the same thing. They're looking, going, we could be outside doing this, doing that, all this stuff that's built up. And you're just like, look, you couldn't make it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just this country. One minute it's sunny, next minute it's snowing. And then when
That's
it's
when they start
sunny,
asking.
every single person's ringing you about the exteriors and asking you about this. And you're like, yeah, but give it a couple of days, we'll be back to winter again.
Yeah, and there's the guys that are looking their outsides done. They're like, "Can you not come this week?" I'm like,
That's right.
"Someone's got their house upside down for me to be in this week. It's not like I could turn around and tell them to. I assure you, how long keep your house upside down there until I come back in the next week. You know?
Well, what is your view on that? Because I was talking to one of the guys today in the course, and he said, "Look, if this exterior to do, the weather's going to be great. I have a kitchen and a dining room to do." And I was like, "Just ring the customer. Just ring
I
the customer and say, look, this is a great opportunity for weather. I have a job that needs done. I'd rather take this. Can you work with me? Like, why not?
So the way I've done it is that for it's not this month, for the next month, for the two outsides. I had the two outsides booked in for that month, but we're not going to get great weather that entire month.
No.
So, well, I have then work that is beyond that month.
Yeah.
So I've already said to them, look, I've outside in the months before. Would yous be okay if I go to take these outsides on a rainy day, then come straight to you? That means that then yous will get yours started a lot quicker. But there is just going to be that stop and start of when I'm going. It's a good day. I'm going to be on the outside, but then when it's raining, I'm going to be in with
100%.
yourselves, and that's where they've totally agree.
Well,
They've like
John
happy days.
John 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 McFarland in one of the episodes said that he'll say if there is exterior jobs, he'll have a list of jobs like non-priority sort of rooms where they can say, look, um, we can bring you forward here if it's rainy weather. If you want it done sooner, we
Yeah,
don't know when that might be, but we get your colors organized, we can get it ready. So again, for those out there that are struggling with weather and exteriors, how many jobs do you have in the pipeline that are rooms that are not really priority rooms? So maybe like a bedroom or like it's not like a dining room or stuff where you could say to a customer, look, if it's raining, I could come and get it masked off, sand the woodwork, but it will be left.
yeah,
It's sort of like like you'll leave it as best you can, but at least you're going to get it done. You will find
yeah,
people say absolutely, but
yeah,
it's just being organized, isn't it?
yeah, 100%.
So it is. So what's in the pipeline for Houston Decorators? What's the next sort of 2 to 5 years? What's the goal, Tommy?
Hopefully retired and with good investments.
Awesome.
No, mate.
Love it, mate. Love it.
Just as long as I keep seeing the work coming in. I liked a bit more commercial stuff to be maybe coming in. So obviously it's the bigger money, but as long as it's something that I can manage myself or get another guy in to help me along with it, like I've always done when I had got commercial stuff. So that's really it.
Love it. On the investments, I know for many years it was make money, spend money, make money, pay bills, make money, pay bills, but no one ever sort of told me about making money and then making the money make you money. So,
Yeah,
what
try and make
changed for
that
you?
return.
Was there somebody sort of, is it something you taught yourself or looked into, or was there somebody that said to you,
So
Tommy, look, you got to start looking after your future? Because I know there's a lot of painters out there. I was one of them who had no pension, he had no investments,
yeah,
he had no real future. It's just the usual, I'll buy a property, that'll be my pension, but it's just bullshit. That's not reality. We can be
yeah.
doing something now as an industry, as a community, as decorators to protect our future so we're not working till we're 80.
Yeah, that's where I feel that that's one of the flaws of companies hiring men are technically subbed in, because they're on a certain a minimum wage where they can't afford to be doing them investments. It's mostly just the work week to week.
Yeah,
So that's another reason why I out my own as well. So I could, put money to into other things, because I needed to, because like I haven't started, putting in for a pension or else just a state pension, that I
yeah,
would have until I actually went out on my own, and then
yeah.
that's when I started, obviously then making that extra bit of money, so then I could put aside into investments and stuff. So yeah, the quicker you can get it in, and you have to try and think about it as just like a monthly subscription that you just put it to the side, not and forget about it. Don't worry about it. The charts of it all going up and down, and panicking when you see it freaking down so much, because the way this world goes, there's always corrections, and it always ends up going back up again.
But
So
I think that's the big thing, because I know for me, I started in well, crypto. I love crypto. I love investing, but I only got into it maybe in 2021. Um,
same,
I was
would be the same as me.
looking back, I always think, oh, I wished I had knew about this or got into this much sooner, because me and you wouldn't be sitting here. I have a funny feeling me and you'd be sitting in a yacht in Monaco at this point.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
but my point
probably
is,
sponsoring one of them teams.
but my point is, I think that's the problem. It's made to scare you. It's made to be, don't get into the investing. But on the note of pensions, there's private pensions. There's SIP.
Yes.
There's loads of things we can do as tradespeople to start securing.
Yeah, there's like the
Uh,
ISIS and all that.
um,
So
we can
yeah,
be putting money away to. I'm not a financial advisor. Certainly not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. But there's a lot we can be doing as tradespeople. Um, that we can be putting away money every single week, every single month. We can be offsetting profits. We can be taking chunks off that and putting it away
yeah,
into private pensions, and start thinking about, if you can afford a two Red Bull every day, a vape, and whatever else you're
them Sugar
subscribing
Kings.
to. So, you can be putting away a fiver, tenner a day, you name it.
Yeah.
And I know, yes, the cost of living, but I often say, give me let me see your bank statement, and let me see where
Hmm.
we can get some money being put away and investing. And that
Yeah.
is, no one taught me, no one said to me about it. I had to fucking do a bit of research and start looking into it myself. And you know, it's it's boring.
Yeah. That's
It's
yeah, it is, but
it's really boring. But it's
it'll
patience, isn't
save
it?
you in the long run.
It's
But then again, that's
patience.
where I've tried I've like moved a couple of accountants, and I'm even with the guy that I'm with now. I just know there's avenues that I could go down to use the tax code, not try and get away from it.
Yeah.
Use what is there for us, but I just need to find the right tax
Go to
advisor, not an accountant per se, because the accountant will do what's good for them plus for you, where a tax advisor will advise you on what you can do. So you can. That's the findings I'm having. So like I'm seeing all their friends. Ah, you could be doing this. You could be doing that. But I don't know if I can qualified for doing that. If you know what I mean.
No, no, no.
I have to
So
find a guy.
I can give you a guy. Um, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but it's called a wealth manager. Now I want to be really clear here. When I say wealth manager, I spoke to my accountant, and I said, "Why is this happening? Why is he able to do this? I know a guy who's doing this, doing this, doing this." And he says you need to speak to a wealth manager. Now it could be a different name, but this guy is under wealth management. And I rang him up, and I said, "How you doing?" I says, "Look, I don't
Make me
have any.
money.
I don't have any wealth yet, but I would love to know how to. You know, and basically what you're saying, what I can do to stop paying legally paying all this money into unnecessarily the tax
Yeah.
and different things. And if
Using the broad width of the
anybody wants
taxman.
that number or wants that contact, I'm happy to give it to them to ship me a message. But when I sat down with him and with Danielle and me, we sat down, we explained, look, we want to secure a future. We want to be able to put our money into the right avenues and savings for our daughters, for our retirements, and various different things. And it's common practice, Tommy. It's just not
Yeah.
talked about. They don't want you. They want to see you fucking struggle. And that's the
Yeah.
reality of it. They want to see you where it's too late when you're 50, 55, 60, and you're going, Jesus Christ, where the last 20 years go? And,
Yeah.
and I'm speaking from a place where the more we're talking about it, the more we normalize all that, where no one told me. No one said
Yeah.
to me, look, you need to start doing X, Y, and Z. You need to start, like, everyone talks about pensions, but what the hell's a state pension going to do?
Yeah. I
But
know.
by the time we get our pensions, probably going to be 92, and
I know.
there ain't going to be no pensions. But
No,
what I'm
I know.
trying to say is,
And they'll probably still be taking it because you're now going to be taxing probably it too.
it's not about how much you invest, it's how often. And
Yeah.
putting a wee bit
And
away
where as well.
and savings, but
Yeah.
getting good information. It's and knowing that, you can see that in the trajectory, in the next 20, 30, 30 years, God willing, we get that, um, that you've got a future and you don't need to be working to your, now, but through choice, don't get me wrong, probably wallpaper when I'm 75 or something, hopefully not now, but,
Yeah.
if you don't, if you want to sort of look into that, but I don't know about you, we're the same age, which you found hard to believe last night. Um, we're both 39, and it's not too late to put a bit of money, start putting money away so that we're 60, we are able to have a good future and a good retirement.
Yeah. I know. Just, I just need to find. Yeah. I could take that. I could take that number
I'll
off
get
you.
I'll get the number. It's not
100%.
for a certain type of person, it's for anybody. They give you
Yeah.
I was given some great advice.
You just
You can
feel
take
like
it.
you're banging on a ceiling, and you
Yeah,
just can't break the ceiling.
yeah.
Um, and any time that you feel like you're getting ahead, there's something there that's just going to cut you by around the ankles to bring you back down.
It's
Um,
just preparedness. It's knowing, look, this is coming, which is end of year tax bills. I used to think, like, spend loads of money, buy loads of stuff to offset the tax. The biggest load of bollocks, you know. Um, there's other ways, sensible ways to secure your future instead of having your future lying in stuff, in machines, in
yeah,
vehicles, in shite that's only going to depreciate, when actually you can secure a good future by putting offsetting that money that you would have been way buying your fancy shite with, and having something and being excited about, um down the line.
yeah, yeah. It's
Whereas if
great.
you don't, you are sort of thinking, fuck, what have I got to look, what am I gonna do? And you don't need property. You don't need this big property empire to be successful or have a secure future. You just need to
Just need
start putting money away now into the right places.
just
But
need the
like,
right tokens.
that's it, mate. That's it,
Yeah.
100%. But look, is there anything we haven't discussed you want to talk about? Is there anything you want to add?
No,
We're hit,
man.
we're
No,
hitting it to
everything's.
we're hitting it to your mark, Tommy, and I know me and you could talk for another couple of hours, but
I know. We could. We probably need to get a coffee for the other conversations. Um, but yeah, no, I think it's covered really all what we need to be covering. I hope you have, or I think the last time you were speaking to me, you were talking about you were trying to, it's not like a union, but like a painters type organization. How have you been coming along
Association,
with that?
yeah. So I've started the conversation. That's all it is at the minute. The conversation is, I believe, we should have an association for the very stuff we've been talking about.
Mhm.
The very stuff that's important to us as painters, decorators, for our customers. Um, so that it's bringing us together where we can discuss rates, where we can discuss, you know, all the various opportunities that we can add to the industry. You know, it's
Mhm.
about as a collective how we can build something that's for the people in it,
Mhm.
and by the people in it, so that we can, you know, talk about insurances, get good deals, protect our painters, protect the industry from, you know, being exploited. You
Yeah.
know, from and you know, when you were talking about asking painters for, you know, help with pricing and rates, that's what that's for. It's
Yeah.
for um letting people see who is um worth getting out to price your job, and who
Yeah.
is a part of something that cares about delivering good service, good product, good
Mhm.
standards. So and ultimately that community aspect, so that, you know, we are having those meetups. You know, you work by yourself. I, I now work by myself. I know 50 painters that work for themselves. So
That
having
would
those
be
opportunities to meet up, discuss what's going on in life and business, you know, something that, you know, have the crack and ultimately keep
yeah.
each other pumped, you know?
That because the community does help to have, because that is what I miss from working with lads
Yeah.
is the crack, because every single day on your own, listening to the same playlist, listening to podcasts, you know, you miss that conversation with someone.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably one of the downfalls, the downsides of working on your own, I would
Yeah.
say, is that you can just be in your own thoughts if you don't
Well,
have any
it's
direction.
it's not it's not it's it, and even at that, Tommy, I've spoken to many painters and all these events and different things that I've tried to organize and go to, and Jared, how much are you paying for a bucket of this? And I'll tell them, and they'll go, "What? I'm paying £100." And I'm like, "Well, I'm paying like 30 or 40, you know," and they're like, and then another guy
Hmm.
goes, "I'm charging." It's also about the power of numbers. It's, you know, 50 painters. If you start, I said about the first 100 members. So I'm sort of working on it. I want to try and I want this to be awesome, and I want it all to be I'm trying to work on a roadmap, or like a vision,
Hmm.
and I want to organize a gathering in Belfast and Dublin. And I've spoken to many people that are also pumped about it. They also
Hmm.
believe it. You know, we need it. Yes, there's other associations. Yes, there's loads of different things. But mine's gonna be my vision that I'm proposing. Just an initial idea. That's all it is. Not
Yeah.
a vision. Vision. I mean, idea is so that I can present to everybody, look, this is what I'm thinking. And then from that circle, all these other contributions come from that.
Yeah.
And like, you had so many fantastic comments off the back of it that you were messaging me about, so valuable. I've had like another 30 of them with like 30 other personally messaging me, some negative, some challenging, some pushback.
Hmm.
But that's why it's so important. You need that. You need the
Yeah.
pushback. And all this pushback and things that are being brought up is the very reason why we need it.
Yep.
We have absolutely no protections here.
Yep.
We have no governance, and I mean good governance. I don't mean like, you know, somebody said to me, "But who are you to tell anybody how to paint?" I said, "I'm not telling anybody to do anything. It's nothing to
No.
do with me. I'm just proposing, look, I think we could have a lot of really good benefits from this. If the PDA can have 13,000 members across the UK, something like that, well, why can we not have our very own in here on this island?
Hmm.
Um, because and the reason why it's an all both north, south, east, and west in Ireland, it's because people are working all over. It's a
Yeah.
very small place, and there's nothing. There's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. There's no help with anything. And
Hmm.
imagine we could have a situation where if you're up against a bad customer, a builder not paying you thousands of pounds, if you're up against training, you want to train, you want to learn how to price better, market better, bring in we as an association bring in the right people. We
Yep.
those that are leaders in our industry, those fucking powerhouses that have done it and want to be a part of it, helping the next guy up the ladder, that want to see
Hmm.
the industry get better and leave it better than what we got it, Tommy. That's the
Yep.
whole point. And
100%.
we don't want them people in it that don't
Hmm.
want to help others.
Yep.
Let them sit in their own, and that's fine. No one's
Yeah.
obligated to do anything. It's not a if you're not in the club, you're out. It's not like that. It's
Yeah.
something that I would love for us all, to have that badge in terms of we're a part of a class community of decorators, painters, and sprayers that care about what we do. We care about delivering a class finish, and we are working together to keep getting better because we
Yep.
never stop learning.
Hmm.
And that's what my whole idea of uh, a PCA in Ireland, and Northern Ireland is all about. It's about that inclusion, helping us all as an industry here get better, work with suppliers, work with insurance companies, work with anyone that wants to work with us, and have
Hmm.
those events to look forward to, giving back. And the ultimate goal for me, something that I would love to sort of see happen, is those training hubs, um, where the association is creating their own decorators,
Yeah.
the
Well,
colleges of the
yeah.
painting industry, that's by the painting industry for the painting industry,
Hmm.
and that curriculum that's working in the modern world, you know, um, that we can help fast track through funding governments, where we can have scholarships, have uh, proper training, where we can excite people to come into the trade, where we can get people going, I want to go do this. And look at how
Yeah.
well we're going to get looked after. Look at these amazing contractors that are being incentivized to come and we can work with them. It's all
Yeah.
these things that'll never change unless we as the industry help change them. And
Yeah.
it's a massive task, but
Hundred percent.
it's
I
not
just.
really, Tommy. It's not really, because as Nick Slavic said to me in a conversation there, I asked, his idea and thing, and I always bounce things off. And he's a gentleman, giving up his time and stuff. And he said, like, you're not reinventing the wheel here. This is all. This is there's associations want to help. Someone said to me, well, what's the PDA? If the PDA want to get involved and help or offer advice and offer, well, step up.
Hmm.
If the
Have
master
you ever
painters have
contacted them or?
no, I haven't done anything yet because I want to try and create my own. What's the point? It's like anything. What's the point in trying to say to people about an association if you don't even know what it looks like?
Oh well, true. Like a pitch.
You gotta do your due diligence. And what I'm asking was, you know, somebody said to me, look, you're not going to get any sign-ups unless you do this, that, and the other. I'm not asking for sign-ups. I just asked for if you're interested in this association, please just let me know. Give me put your name down, and anything that's coming up in the future, we'll be sure to let you know. And
Yeah.
well, I think we've nearly 60 painters already,
Yeah.
all from all over. Fantastic decorators. Some I know, a lot of them I don't know, and it shows you that hunger, Tommy.
Yeah.
Um, so it doesn't need to be this big. It's not. It's not supposed to be this big fancy. I don't know. It's supposed to be a fun association that's there to serve the. It's created by the people it's there to serve. That's it in a nutshell.
Great.
And
Well, hopefully it pans out.
it's not a me thing. It's hope I need everybody to get involved. It'll be an everybody thing,
Yeah.
and everybody, somebody might know somebody really good to create the website. Somebody knows somebody in insurance companies that can help. Somebody knows somebody that legally that we can help create class terms and conditions, and talk about how we can protect our businesses from the one man band to the, big companies, you
Yeah.
know, the governments, councillors, you name it, where they can maybe help with various different things. But
Yeah.
it's all down. It's all in the pipeline. Once I sort of get my head down, Tommy. Once I get the teeth in it, I'm away. But it's a wee project for me. It's something that I like to keep my mind sort of interested and working on something. And
Yeah.
if it's something I can be working on behind the scenes, and then eventually I'd like to sort of September time have the meetups where the one in Belfast, it could be 12 people, it could be 50 people up there. Down in Dublin, it could be 20 people, it could be 100 people come
Yeah.
September, and then get everybody's ideas. Once everybody's interested and we get a sort of general uh mission, what do we want this to be? What does everybody want this to look like? And then we can go for it and get the right get it started and make it happen. And maybe this time next year we'll be getting organized for our own paint and decorating awards within the association, our paint it forward initiative through the association, our accredited members as part of the association, that when they are going to price work with maybe up against 4 or 5 different decorators, you're one that is accredited, has got been assessed, has got standing over by insurances, where you can show them what you stand for.
Yeah.
And it may just be the reason why you win that project, that job. I'm hoping that we can get architects on board. We can get the various bodies, the building builders, networks, and work with them to help us with builders and rates, and sort of that help with this, stop this sort of cutthroat, you know, the race to the bottom sort of
Yeah.
idea as well, but that's something that the decorating trade needs to want. And some may want it, some may not, but I think there's going to be enough interest to at least start something. And if we can help um together create something fun and exciting, then why not? If we
Yeah.
can all give up 10, 15 minutes, half an hour of our week or something to contribute, why not? Keep her lit.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go, my
Yeah.
man. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's
Well,
go.
look, I am not going to keep you any longer. You have been awesome. I really appreciate your time. If there's
Appreciate
anything
having me
for
on and even asking me to come on.
No, I've been wanting to get you on. As I say, we have a long list here of loads of people. There's so many people want to get on. And to hear their story, to hear their opinions, their views, have the crack, hear the stories. And there seems to be this thing, when I ask somebody, why are you getting me on? I'm just a painter. You're not just a painter. You have a story. Everyone has a story,
Yeah.
and everyone's been, had a journey. It could be a year, it could be 10 years, it could be 40 years. Um, and people learn from it. They'll have a laugh at it. They'll have the crack. And as you say, maybe working on their own, listen to a podcast, maybe learning a wee something, having a laugh, having the crack, and feeling like they're in the room. So if you're that person listening now, thank you. Keep her lit. Get that sanding done.
Make sure I
you
sound
know.
them startings.
Well, that's it. You missed a bit. What is it you missed a
Aye.
bit?
Yeah.
But look, enjoy Germany, and keep her lip, my man. You
Yeah.
know.
31 degrees out there at the minute. Flip me.
Ah, lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Well,
I
look, have
don't.
a
It's
ball, have a
100%, mate.
ball,
Appreciate it.
Tommy, and no, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Well, everybody, that was Tommy. Tommy has been awesome. 2 hours 13. It's been a while since we broke the 2 hour mark. He's had quite the journey. He has from he was 16. Same age as me, 39. He's based in Newtownabbey, Houston Decorators. He loves what he does, and it was great getting a chat with him. I am up in Dundonald tomorrow, getting organised, getting a wee job sorted out. Next week, couple of days off. Next week, I'm back in Belfast, and then I am the following week. I'm in Moira, so looking forward to that. Multiple courses in between. It's been awesome, everybody, and again, thank you to everybody, genuinely, that likes, follows, comments, and joining me in this journey. What you don't know is, for my birthday present this year, hold on. I also love a wee bit of Lego from time to time, believe it or not. That might surprise people. It helps me when I'm off, calm the old head. But what people don't know is Danielle bought me this awesome behind the brush sign that's supposed to be like here. She's a legend. Danielle surprised me that for my birthday, and I haven't had a minute. That's a lie, actually. I haven't a clue how to put it up. So I need to get that sorted. Look, this has been awesome. Genuinely, thank you everybody for joining me and having the crack. And next week we have Georgie Baker on. Georgie Baker is another fellow Dulux Select decorator. I caught up with him at the Polo. He does a lot of work for TV and various different things. He's a master crafts person. He's amazing with his hands, what he does and the projects. So I'm really looking forward to getting Georgie on. He was working in France the last time I was talking to him. And he's just up for awards, the GFA awards. So it'd be great to catch up with him. So look, I'm going to say have a nice rest of your evening. It's 10:15, so whatever you're up to, keep her lit and speak soon. Have a good one.